What is up, my dear friend, and welcome to this free masterclass where we're going to uncover the exact steps that you must take in order to move on and find happiness after heartbreak. But before we move on, let's further understand the definition of what a heartbreak truly is. And heartbreak refers to the experience of an intense emotional pain or sorrow, often resulting from the loss of a loved one, a breakup, or a difficult life event. It's a common human experience that many of us do not like going through, but we're all going to experience. Maybe once, maybe multiple times. So we need to learn how to navigate this time so that we don't get stuck in the past and ruin the life that we want to live. And this human experience can often manifest as a deep sadness, grief, and emotional suffering. And the way that I like to put it, if you have suffered with a heartbreak, a breakup, separation, divorce, or lost a loved one, then this is going to help you to begin to move on. Because here's what I know. I know exactly where you are. You've been hurting for a while now. You can't stop thinking about the past that you once had or the future that you wanted to create. You're tired of pretending that you're okay, like you're living in a fake smile. You feel stuck, like life is moving on without you. And maybe, just maybe, you're wondering if you'll ever feel like yourself again. In the few moments ahead, we will uncover and do a deep dive into the emotional knots keeping you entangled in this pain. And I'll show you exactly how to finally break free. And I'll also reveal 3 steps that have helped thousands of other people just like you to release themselves from the past and build a future of peace, positive self-worth, and joy. And I'm going to ask you something right now that's rather important. Do not skip around. Don't zone out. If you're not ready to watch this entire video, it's only going to be about 15 to 20 minutes, you're probably not ready to move on. And if you're not willing to invest 15 to 20 minutes into your personal development, into your self-worth, into a hope-filled future, that's okay. This is not for you. But if you feel like you're ready and you're tired of staying stuck, stick around, because I'm telling you that you are going to uncover what it's going to take to help you to get unstuck from this emotional loop. Stick around with me to the end, because that's when everything's going to change. And I'm telling you what, this is your turning point. And today I'm going to show you how we're going to get unstuck. Today I'll be acting as your guide and coach who will be guiding you on a transformative journey where your pain becomes your power, your heartbreak becomes your breakthrough, and your story shifts from suffering to thriving, because that is my mission. After writing my best-selling book, I have uncovered that my life's mission is to help you to suffer less and thrive more, to help you get unstuck from the obstacles, stopping you from a greater level of aliveness and vitality in your life, relationships, business, and career. So we're going to walk you through the exact path that I've taken and the one that has helped thousands of other individuals to heal from heartbreak and become the strongest, happiest version of themselves. So you don't need another distraction. You don't need another book. You need a specific roadmap, and you're about to get one. So stick around. So let's talk about first things first. Let's get one thing straight. I am not a therapist, and I'm not an armchair expert. I am someone who lived in that darkness that you're facing right now. I've come to realize that the person that I'm meant to help is the person that I once was. So if you are currently feeling stuck, overwhelmed, unsure about a future that is no longer seeming to be attainable, then I've got you. Because let me tell you, I was betrayed by the woman I loved, my high school sweetheart, who I thought I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with. Like we were all supposed to, right? And I spiraled. I was depressed. I stopped functioning. I lost who I was. I quit the game that I loved the most, football, and I ended up in the hospital more than once. But let me tell you something. I crawled and clawed myself out of the suffering and pain, not through guesswork, but through discovering the mindset, the strategies, and the daily steps to move forward. And in doing so, I became a best-selling author, a certified relationship and emotional intelligence coach, and I'm happy to say that I am so grateful that I've married the love of my life. And I made it my life's missions to help other people get unstuck and find their way out of pain so that they can create the life that they've always wanted to live as well. Because I did it, you can too. But in order to do that, you must be willing to let go of the past, redefine who you are, and create a future bright enough to propel you out of your pain. I've walked this road, and I'm telling you, I can help you walk through it today. So what you're going to uncover, let's dive into what awaits you. First off, I know that you're already overwhelmed. So I won't overwhelm you with every specific step and detail here, but what you will discover in the up and coming moments has the ability to unlock the clarity that you need to get your happiness back and life on the right track. For I'm about to share with you the 3 simple steps to regain the control that you need to over your life, foster a deep sense of self-love, and embark on a journey towards lasting and sustainable peace, love, and fulfillment, whether you're single or not. Now let's address why this is absolutely crucial in the part nobody tells you. Staying stuck in heartbreak isn't just painful, it's dangerous. If you don't deal with it properly, it rewires your self-worth. You stop trusting people. You start believing love will always end in pain. You'll close off your heart and stop yourself from being able to receive and give love. You sabotage the good things because part of you doesn't feel worthy anymore. And worst of all, you start to settle. You start to settle for less love, less peace, and less joy. How do I know? Because once again, I've been there. This is what emotional trauma does when left unhealed. It shapes your identity and shapes your future that you ultimately never wanted in the first place. A future where there's no love, no joy, no human connection, and hopelessness. But it doesn't have to be this way. You just have to unlearn what you've learned about what it takes to heal and move on and be open to learn and implement a new life strategy. That's all you're missing. You're missing a life strategy or a roadmap. Because here's the truth. What you have been taught, you've been wronged, or you haven't been taught at all. You see, much of what you've been taught about moving on after heartbreak is fundamentally flawed. First thing I want you to understand is that there are no quick fixes. One of the biggest lies that we've been sold about healing from heartbreak is that you cannot get over someone by finding yourself under someone new. Phrases like the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else have become normalized, but they've rooted in emotional avoidance and not healing. So when you jump into another relationship too soon, you're not giving yourself the emotional space to process your pain. Instead, you're using someone else to distract you from what still needs healing inside. And what happens from that? You carry the emotional residue of your last relationship into the next one. The same insecurities, the same triggers, the same fears, and the cycle repeats, and you'll end up back on heartbreak because you're bleeding on someone who never cut you. True healing requires a couple of things. First thing, it requires solitude, reflection, and emotional integration. It's not about replacing the person, it's about repairing the internal wound. So until you do the internal work, no external relationship will ever feel safe, fulfilling, or real. Healing isn't just about moving on fast, it's about moving on well. The second big obstacle that oftentimes stop us from being able to achieve happiness is we've been put in a position to believe that time can help heal all wounds. We've all heard the phrase that time heals all wounds. But while it sounds comforting, it's absolutely dangerously misleading, because the truth is time alone does not heal you. It's what you do in that time that determines whether you stay stuck or start to actually grow. Think of emotional pain, for example, as a physical injury. If you break a bone and do nothing, the passage of time doesn't magically fix itself. In fact, it might actually heal the wrong way or cause a permanent damage. The same is true with emotional wounds that you're currently experiencing. Without the right care, attention, and tools, pain doesn't just disappear. It actually festers, it lingers, and quietly shapes how you show up in every relationship that follows. This emotional weight will cause you to walk through your daily life with a lack of care, vitality, and aliveness. Depression will show up, sadness will be there, and hopelessness, to just name a few things. And in my own healing journey, I've learned that passive waiting isn't healing. It's emotional limbo. And you need a conscious process. You need reflection, tools to regulate your emotions, ways to release the past resentment and habits that reconnect you back with yourself. Because healing is not just about time passing, it's about what you practice while the time is passing. And that's what makes all of the difference. So I'm going to show you how you can begin to do that. And the last big obstacle that we oftentimes face is we oftentimes ignore the reality. And one of the most common coping mechanisms after a breakup is to suppress your emotions or distract yourself with busyness, like work, social media, hookups, shopping, endless entertainment. But here's the reality is distraction isn't healing. It's emotional avoidance dressed up as a productivity or control. And you might be telling yourself, hey, if I just stay busy, I won't have to feel this pain. I know countless of entrepreneurs and business owners that do and fall into this path specifically. They keep themselves super busy so they don't have to experience the pain that they are actually experiencing and or feeling. But that emotional energy, like I said, doesn't just disappear. It stores itself in your body, your behavior, and your beliefs. It silently affects your confidence, your sense of worth, and your ability to feel safe in your future relationship. Pain that isn't processed gets projected. It shows up as anxiety, stress, as anger, as numbness, as mistrust. And if you tried to avoid your heartbreak by numbing it out and still find yourself hurting, I want you to know that you're not broken. You're just stuck using strategies that don't work long term. And so it's time to stop pretending you're fine, because you're really not as fine as you want to be. Because real healing only begins when you allow yourself to feel what's true and then apply the tools to move through it. So suppressing your emotions keep you in survival mode. Facing them with the right support leads you to the freedom and joy and peace that you deserve and desire. So I'm not just speaking from theory. I'm speaking from experience. Like I said, I believe that I'm here to help the very individual who I once was. Years ago, I had my heart shattered by the person I thought I'd marry. She betrayed me with someone I trusted, and because of this, I sabotaged healthy love. I struggled with emotional intimacy. I spiraled into depression, and I stopped living the life and doing the things that I once loved. I lost all motivation, happiness, and I stopped functioning. I spent nights in the hospital, and sadly, I didn't recognize who I was anymore. But now, that is no longer my reality. I slowly started to turn my life around as I began to implement these 3 empowering steps I am now going to share with you. And because of these steps, I have been able to become a best-selling author, a certified emotional resilience and a relationship coach, and most importantly, I found love again. Not only did I find it, I created it, I generated it, I manifested it into my life, and not the kind that breaks you, the kind that actually builds you. Today, I'm married to my best friend and run a successful business that helps thousands of others find clarity, confidence, and joy after heartbreak, a purpose-driven life. Now, I want to help you to do the same. So let me share with you the exact steps that turned my life around and has the potential to change yours if you decide to implement them. The first step that you have to take when you're experiencing heartbreak from a past relationship, a breakup, a separation, or divorce, is you've got to learn how to let go. First, here's how to finally get over your ex. Let go of your past and move on with your life. The first thing you've got to do is you got to disconnect. You've got to cut all ties with the person who hurt you. It doesn't mean you can't be friends one day, and as that sometimes happens, but that's the key. One day, not now. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, Tyler, but what if I'm have kids with them? Well, don't worry. We can work through that together in the up and coming moments. But for right now, you've got to understand that you have to create the space needed for you in order to heal. And you can't do that in the same environment where you got hurt. But once you do that, once you suddenly let go and create the space you need for you, suddenly you'll feel much more clarity about your situation. And right now you might feel lost or stuck or caught up in an emotional roller coaster of chaos, but you need to let go of the unwanted emotions that are making you feel that way. And once again, that's when emotional intelligence comes into play. And once you really clear up on what's blocking you, letting go becomes so much easier. Then you can finally process the pain, move on from it, and release it for good. Negative emotions can cause you to feel invisible, ashamed, angry, and alone. But trying to hide the pain, ignoring it, or build walls around yourself isn't going to work any longer. Together, I can show you how you can finally work through all that needs to be released and what's keeping you stuck in this nasty cycle of anger and depression, heartbreak, breakup, separation, divorce pain. and then we can begin to heal your heart. So the first thing that you need to understand, my friend, is that if you're not willing to let go of what was, you'll never be able to create a future of what can be. So you got to learn how to let go and free yourself up from the emotional baggage, free yourself up from the pain. The next step that you have to do, once you learn how to let go from the emotional turmoil within your own mind and body, you've got to love yourself. Because the next step is to develop a healthier relationship with yourself, because everything stems from the relationship that you have with yourself. You attract not what you want, you attract what you are. And if you're attracting heartbroken individuals, it's because you are heartbroken. And, one where you feel a deep sense of happiness and inner peace no matter what. That's the relationship you need to have with yourself. Contentment. You've got to rebuild your relationship with you, because it's the foundation of everything. If you don't love yourself, you can't find love with another. It's absolutely impossible to do. So you need to start practicing some self-compassion and ultimately go a little bit easier on yourself, because love is tough, whether it works out or not. And it's okay that you've made some mistakes with it in the past. We all have. Nobody gets it right the first time. So you got to forgive yourself just a little bit. Because once you've learned how to reconnect with your body, mind, spirit, purpose, identity, beliefs, values, you will notice you'll start to feel a change that will create a hope-filled future, a better future. It will help you to feel more connected, more alive, and back on track to creating a dream life. And so what we do is we help you to rebuild your life from the ground up. And right now, you might feel like your life is empty, like there's a big hole in your heart from the one who left. And that might make you feel like life is meaningless, purposeless, and pointless. Or maybe you just feel numb, disconnected, and isolated from your true self. Maybe most people and many people often try to overcome this hole in your soul with unhealthy distractions, things like compulsive eating, senseless shopping, or reckless sex. But unless you learn to meet your needs in a positive way, you're never going to feel better. Your last relationship might have been your sole source of validation, worth, and fulfillment. However, now they're gone. And without them, you have nothing to create those feelings for you. But I can show you how you can start generating those feelings for yourself without anybody else. Because once you do that, once you become your own light source, love source, happiness, you'll feel more alive and attract the right person into your life who treats you like an equal and who doesn't make your happiness dependent upon them. You'll feel more fulfilled, more loved, and more alive than ever before, all because you started to build a happier and healthier relationship with yourself. So let's talk about the next step. Once you begin to let go and create a happier relationship with yourself, you've got to move forward. Step 3. Because once you do that, you'll finally feel back in control of your life. Not only will you love yourself deeply and feel more alive than ever before, but you'll also find lasting happiness and bliss, whether you're single or not. And I'm going to show you how you can find joy in every moment and feel fully engaged and grounded every day with more clarity, control, and less chaos. With the past solidly behind you, now you can move forward to create the life of your dreams. One full of excitement, enjoyment, love, laughter, happiness, and bliss. This is the key to reclaiming your life and unblocking a greater version of yourself. A life where you are fully aligned with your beliefs, thoughts, and values. A life you can be proud of. A life that you are excited to create. From your hobbies to your career to your relationships of your dream, once you've healed up in a happy with your own life, soon you'll attract the perfect person into it. Remember, I said you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. Someone who loves you, cherishes you, and respects you. Someone that's better than you've ever dreamed of. This is what I attracted into my life. No longer will you be settling and accept less than the love that you deserve. And once you reach that place, my friend, it won't be long before love shows up. And I know, just look what happened to me. Once I figured out the path to recovery, it wasn't long before I met the love of my life. And here we are 8 years later, happily married. And I can help you do the same thing. But once again, I hate when you just take my word for it. Here's what other people have to say. Because here's what you've got to understand. I need you to understand when it comes to these testimonials that I've been so blessed to have received. I do keep my client confidentiality serious. I keep it serious. And what I mean by that is client confidentiality will be hidden so that these are fake names from these testimonials, but the testimonials are absolutely real, but the names are different because I need to make sure that they feel protected. So Sarah said, after my devastating breakup, I felt completely lost and didn't know how to pick up the pieces. Sound like you? That's when I discovered the Breakup Recovery Roadmap audio program, and it changed my life. The course provided me with the guidance and support I desperately needed, learning how to build up my support system, distract myself in healthy ways, and practice self-love that transformed my healing journey. Today, I am stronger, happier, and more confident than ever before, and I highly recommend this course to anyone going through a breakup. It's worth every penny. Mark said, I was skeptical about investing in a breakup course, but the Breakup Recovery Roadmap course that exceeded all my expectations. The lessons were incredibly insightful and practical, teaching me how to optimize my life and surrounding focuses on the positive and navigate the roller coaster of emotions. The lessons and practical teachings provided valuable exercises and tools that accelerated my healing process. Thanks to this course, I am now living a life filled with self-love, resilience, and happiness. So don't hesitate to give yourself the gift of this course. You won't regret it. And Deborah C. said, this was the helpful direction I needed to get my life back on track and not feel so hopeless. This, my friend, this process, I'm telling you, works because it doesn't just talk at you. I talk and walk with you. So let me ask you a question. What if this heartbreak isn't where your story ends, but where a brand new chapter begins? What if this season of pain is actually the doorway to the most confident, clear, and joyful version of yourself? Imagine for a moment with me. Imagine waking up without the heaviness in your chest, no longer haunted by the memories of what if, but grounded in peace, full of purpose, and excited for today, excited for tomorrow, excited for a future. Picture a life where you trust yourself completely, where your happiness no longer depends on someone else, where love, healthy, mutual, soul-nourishing love becomes your reality, not just a dream. This, my friend, isn't just about moving on from your ex. It's about moving into a life that finally feels aligned with who you are and who you're meant to become. You don't have to stay stuck any longer. You don't have to settle. You were made for more, and I want you to get unstuck. And the next steps begins with a single choice. And are you ready to reclaim your heart, your power, and your future? If so, let's take the next step together. Because here's what you need to understand. If you've been searching for a way out of the pain, but still stuck in the pain, if you're tired of guessing your way through heartbreak, and if there's even a small part of you that still believes your best days are ahead and not behind you, then now is the time to take the next brave, courageous step. Click the button below and begin your healing journey with the Breakup Recovery Roadmap audio course, a proven path to get you to understand what to do in order to move on, rebuild a life full of clarity, confidence, and joy. This isn't just about, like I said, getting over your ex. It's about finally answering the deeper questions that have been weighing on your heart, like, why did this happen? How do I move forward without feeling broken? And will I ever feel love again? Inside this course, I will walk you step by step through the same process I used to heal my own heart, and the same one that I've taught to thousands of others who've thought they'd never feel okay again, manifest a greater level of happiness, love, and fulfillment in their life. So if you're ready to stop surviving and start living, to finally reclaim your peace, your power, and your purpose, click the button below now. This is your very moment, and I'll be right there with you every step of the way. You don't have to do it alone. And because I believe healing shouldn't be accessible to anyone who truly wants it, I've made a decision that surprises most people. This full audio course was originally priced at $99, which is still a fraction of what it's worth. But for a limited time, you can enroll today for just $27. A one-time payment of $27. Yes, only $27 to begin the most important healing journey of your life. Let me remind you of what you're going to be saying yes to. You're saying yes to the Breakup Recovery Roadmap audio course, a complete 13-lesson program guiding you step by step through the process of letting go, loving yourself, and moving forward with power and peace. These are the exact tools I use to rebuild my life after happiness. You're also going to receive a copy of my book, The Big Three. My best-selling book, The Big Three, teaches you how you can learn how to build strong, healthy, and loving relationships with yourself, others, God, and everything in between, because I believe that the quality of life you and I experience directly reflects the relationships that we have with ourselves, others, and God. And if we want to create a happier quality of life, we need to learn how to discover how to create happier relationships with ourselves, others, and God. You will also get access to the 45-day Heartbreak Recovery Challenge program that's going to keep you on sync with daily emotional support, reflection prompts, and actual steps that you can keep progressing forward. And finally, a 60-minute personal coaching call with me, your opportunity to get individualized guidance, clarity, and encouragement directly from me. You can book a call with me once you sign up. Together, like I said, this package is worth hundreds of dollars in coaching, tools, and transformation. But today, like I said, I want to offer to you for $27. Why? Simply because it's affordable. It's accessible to everybody. We need to elevate our happiness in order to live in a better world. And because I don't want price to be the very thing that's keeping you from healing, I need you to understand that this offer won't last if you decide to exit out of this page. When the limited spots are filled, the price will return to $99. So if your heart is saying, hey, I need this, I know he's talking to me, I just need to understand, like, what are my next steps? Listen to it. Click the button below and enroll into this healing journey together. I hope to see you on the inside. I hope to find that I am able to help you, that you will be able to help yourself, and together we can create a life of much more happiness, peace, purpose, and resilience. Click the button below to get started today.